Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is episode 24 of the SANE Show, the show about nothing and everything. I got another good friend with me. We were just talking about how we basically known each other for over a decade. Or I'd say we grew up together pretty much. And I'm super excited for you guys to hear some of the great things that are going to come out of this recording. I got Ashlei Sharpe Chestnut with me
Hey
today.
guys.
Did I pronounce your middle name correctly?
You
Please
totally
tell me I
pronounced my
did.
name wrong, but it's fine. It's fine. It's
Oh my
sharp.
goodness.
It's sharp, but it's fine. It's
Sharp.
fine. It's
Okay.
fine. You've known me for 13 years and you don't know how to pronounce my name. It's great.
Oh my goodness. Well, how are you doing today?
Listen, I'm doing great. New York is finally getting a hint of spring outside, so
Great.
I'm not completely bundled up outside. It's great.
Good, good, good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm actually ready to get back up there. So I know I think it was last year actually I was up there. Actually we got a chance to hang out.
Yeah.
Took me to Sylvia's, and since I've been back, I've been talking about that. So
So,
it's great. Yeah, when I tell people, I'm like, if somebody's talking about going to New York, hey, go to Sylvia's. It's in Harlem. Great restaurant, great food. It's like being back at home. You know, it's one of the closest things to home when you're up there. So,
yeah, for sure. And there's also some other
so
places too. Yeah, but definitely.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Many other places. That's why I'm excited to get back up there. You know, definitely got to show me some more great eats because I mean, anybody that knows me knows I like to eat, and I'm
We know,
always
we know.
open to trying new things. Okay. So let's go ahead and hop into it.
Sure.
Today we're going to discuss making it as an actor. We're also going to talk about, I wrote it down as the new generation of actors, but really, talking about the younger generation, primarily millennials, stepping up and taking the helm in film, television, theater, Broadway, all, across the board, really. And then, of course, we always have our trending topic that we're going to discuss, and we'll reveal that later. And then, followed by that, we're going to have our interview with Ashley so that the listeners can get to learn a little bit about you, your journey, what you got going on, and everything
Mhm.
related to that. So, let's go ahead and hop right into it. So, making it
Okay.
as an actor. Again, knowing you and watching your journey, and you're one of those people I look at. Again, like I tell a lot of other people I have on here, I'm a fan of yours. And
Thank you.
for any, yeah, yeah, for anybody that's listening that doesn't know Ashley, like she's a really cool person, dope, hard worker, super down to earth, and one of the things,
Aw.
watching you. It definitely has inspired me, especially I remember you finishing school, you going to New York, and you just you pounded the pavement. And for me, watching you have the level of success that you're having, and trending upward in the right direction is just very impressive. So as far as what you do, give me and the listeners a little bit of insight as to, I guess, what does it take in general for anybody looking to get into this field to get to where you are and beyond.
Yeah, honestly, it's staying dedicated and disciplined,
Hmm.
especially when you're not working and
Hmm.
still finding ways to stay creative without waiting for that call or the next audition. And for me, I guess now that I'm, adjusted in the city, it's either taking dances at Alvin Ailey or trying these new workout programs in the city or honestly, just staying social and networking with people in the industry and
Hmm.
outside of the industry. And
Right.
recently, I've been writing roles for myself that I want to see and just making
Okay.
time for fun. Um,
Good. Good.
yeah.
Yeah. That's so important to like making time for fun and still being able to enjoy your life, because I can even tell you on my side of things, being as busy as I am with this podcast, and things have only been speeding up, which is good. But at the same
Hmm.
time, like again, it's always important to have that balance. So I definitely agree with you on that one. So I guess when you were talking about meeting people,
Yeah.
I guess one of the things too, I always think about it. Let's talk about as far as meeting people. Of course, you have like your general networking events, and at least like when you talk about general business, and
Hmm.
but then in the world that we live in today, and a lot of people being digital, and as far as social media and whatnot, it seems like it may be harder to come across the right people. But and then when you talk about entertainment, it might be
Hmm.
a little bit more complicated, because it's like
Yeah.
there's a lot of people out there. I like to call them like gems. A lot of hidden
Gyms.
gems out here, but but you have to really search far and wide, or bump into the right person, maybe ask the right questions, and then they
Yeah.
then they might be able to say, well, I actually know somebody. Let me get you in touch with them. You know what I mean? So I guess
Yeah.
what advice would you give somebody that is, looking to try to get in touch with the right people? Where would anybody go?
It's so
Or
funny.
go ahead.
I'm still actually learning how to do this, and
Yeah.
because I guess my first time moving to New York, like I didn't have an
Hmm.
agent, which I'll get to that story later at the end, but like me trying to get in contact with these casting directors, producers, anyone, like I was literally sending out my headshot and resume in the mail almost every day to like different offices, but that wasn't working. Like I got a hit back from like
Right.
some spam thing. But I heard about, this place here is called One on One.
Hmm.
Brittany Polk, actually, who's a UNCG alum, told me
Okay.
about this place where actors can get to know or can actually have these one-on-one sessions with these casting directors, agents, managers. It's like the place for you to beat out the middleman and come into contact directly with these people.
Oh.
And I found that to be successful for me. And that's actually one of the avenues I got to booking my first job. And I feel like, yes, in this era of social media, you can DM people, but how many times are they going to respond to you back? Especially when there's like 1,000 other people
Hmm.
DMing them, probably asking the same questions. So I
Right.
found for me, these workshops that they host, because it's not impossible to talk to these people. And yes, I have reached out to
Hmm.
some people via social media and they have responded. But I feel like these avenues, especially in the city in New York, it's possible to talk to these creatives in these different fields.
Hmm. Definitely. Would you say being in New York, because one of the conversations I always go back to is when I tell people about having spoke to Beyonce's agent at Creative Artists.
Hmm.
And, one of the things he told me, he's like, I told him about me booking concerts and things like that. And,
Hmm.
he commended me for, doing it and not being in one of the three major markets, LA, New York, or Atlanta. And he didn't say, there's a reason that people go there.
Yeah.
And based on your experience, having been in New York, would you say, or would you go to say that there's definitely, because I don't want to say that, there's not a chance in other markets, but it's definitely going to take a lot more work. So being in New York, and it still takes work. I'm not saying it doesn't, but would you
For
say that
sure.
there's a higher probability that you come across the right people?
Yes, 1,000% yes. Because I actually, right before I graduated from college, my mom and I flew out to LA because I was telling my mom like TV and film is where I wanted to be, and I know like LA's the hub. So we
Hmm.
flew out and met with Chris Chalk. I'm just name dropping Chris Chalk, another
Yeah.
UNCG alum, who's actually become like
Okay.
my mentor. I flew
Great.
out, met with him, and tried to get an understanding of the industry out there and the hustle
Hmm.
of what it takes out in LA. And what I got from
Hmm.
that is LA is a little bit harder for some people, and that because I guess you're driving in everywhere and you're kind of alone, and you have to make more of an effort to get out and talk to people. Versus New
Hmm.
York, when I got here, I found that I'm always in contact with people, whether it's on the subway, walking down the street, like there's always people around.
Mm-hmm.
And I just really feel like New York, specifically for me in my journey, has been, I guess, monumental,
Mm-hmm.
so to speak. And I think I forgot where I heard this, but they always say it's easier to break into the industry in New York than LA. And for
Mm-hmm.
me, that's definitely been the case. So yeah, I feel like, granted, I
Great.
mean, I know other people have, like, Atlanta too. Like, I have friends who are killing it in Atlanta. So I don't want to go so far to say that you can't make it if you are in
Right.
Atlanta or not in these, these mainstream areas. But I will say it is a lot easier to get into the casting offices or the right
Right.
rooms to
Right.
meet people if you are in
Right.
these major cities.
Right. Especially, I don't know whose website I was on. I think it was William Morris actually. I was on their website and, I'm looking at where they have offices or hubs and, it's like you see these really the big markets,
Hmm.
where their hubs are. So definitely they have locations there, this obviously there's something there, for them
Yeah.
to want to be there. So definitely I agree. That was great stuff. We're definitely going to, dive more into that in the interview portion of this. So let's go ahead and get to our trending topic. The trending topic is brought to you by E News. A lot of people are familiar with this one. Law and Order SVU specifically, Special
SVU?
Victims Unit, makes TV history with season 21 renewal. And right here it says it's the longest running primetime live action series in TV history, which I didn't even know
Mhm.
until, of course,
Yep.
they announced it, and that's a really big deal. Uh, you ever binge watch SVU on like Sunday afternoon?
It's so funny. I only binge watch it when I go to, like, friends' houses,
Yeah,
and they have it just, like, nonstop. So
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
I think everybody. I have not met a person who hasn't seen Law and Order SVU specifically.
Right. Yeah, it's a really interesting show, and at the same time, I think it really Law and Order, the franchise in general, I think really helped set the stage for a lot of these crime dramas that
Hmm.
we see now. Like one of my favorites, just no longer airing, but Major Crimes, loved it. Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah, that one. I know it's they were like part of the Major Crimes Division of LAPD and all the other shows. How to no. Oh man, Kerry Washington. What's the show? Um,
Scandal.
yeah, like just shows like that in general. Like it really helped, I guess, inspire or whatever. And I want to give credit to Dick Wolf as well because having
Yeah.
the career that he's had and not just ending it with Law and Order because he has I know another show
Thousands
that
of projects. Okay,
right.
thousands.
One of my favorites is Chicago Fire. Love that show.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Chicago Fire,
'Cause
Chicago PD. Yeah, they're like
yeah,
they're
Chicago
literally on
Med.
every prime time. Yeah, everything.
Right. I'm not gonna lie, I geeked out a little bit. I was looking into SVU and specifically Mariska Hargitay and saw that SVU actually has crossovers with episodes with Chicago Fire and Chicago PD, which I thought was
Oh,
super cool. Right. I'm like, because they're produced by the same guy, and I'm like, I love crossovers, especially when they work well together, and they're also under, I guess you could say, the same production house. So I thought it was pretty cool
yeah, you're
to see
getting great
that.
ratings.
Right, exactly. Because it's like you see that one person make a guest appearance, and you're like, oh snap,
I have to make sure I
it's
watch,
somebody.
DVR it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But like we were kind of talking about before the recording, I thought it was really, I thought it was really great to see how Mariska has really owned her role, and really stepped in. I guess really become the face of the SVU series.
Hmm.
Especially having the series having lost. I cannot think of the guy's name. He played Elliot, her side, I guess her partner detective
Oh, on the show.
earlier
Yeah.
on. Yeah. And, him having lost him, really gave her the opportunity to take and step up. Because, sometimes you lose, especially like, Elliot, one of my favorite characters in SVU. And, when I found out he wasn't going to be a part of it anymore, it kind of bummed me out. But
Hmm.
at the same time, I think it's great when you have an actress like her that can still take it on and almost put the show on her back, because I feel that if they lose her, like the show would be in some deep water, because she's now that main person, and like for her to continue carrying it on and the show to still have the success that it's having, like, because at a point, it's like I got over Elliot no longer being on the show, because they brought in some other great actors and also some other great characters that made the show just as interesting as it was when they had him. I guess you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, I just love that she's a woman leading a
Hmm.
series, and this history that's
Right.
being made is partly,
Yeah.
well, mainly because of her,
Hmm.
holding this show, and the fact that
Right.
there are people still invested in watching
Hmm.
every week, and there
Right.
are news stories. I guess what's interesting for me, like as an actor, is just seeing them, I guess the writer's room always finding different pieces to keep us
Right.
invested and to
Yeah.
keep us wanting more, but are also rooted in real life and real world events.
Hmm. Yeah, that is very true. And that's one of the things I love about SVU is how they are able to take some of these actual events and put it into a script. And it's interesting the way that they do it too, because it may not be it's like they're not saying, "Hey, we're using this," but as you watch and you pay attention, you're like, "Oh, okay, I see what they're doing. Something like this just
Mm-hmm.
happened recently, or a few years ago or
Right.
whatever," and they took in. So, and I like the way they go about it, because they're not taking and what do you call it? They're not oh man, the word was in my mind. Um, I guess like I guess taking complete advantage of, I guess, whatever the situation may be, and for just for the sake of ratings and profit kind of
Yeah.
thing. Where it's like, no, they treat it with care, and they really try to help make people think about that situation as if they had I guess you would say a firsthand look at it and say, this is the stuff that goes on. These are the things you need to like you really think about it, rather than saying right or wrong, or without knowing the facts or even what goes into that kind of stuff. And I also agree with you on a part about Mariska, her being a female lead, especially in this day and age. I couldn't think of really a better time for something like this to be happening, and for her to be in the position that she's in, because I feel all that does is give her and the series more momentum to
Yeah.
continue moving forward. Because that was one of
And
the
for other
things too.
shows too.
Go ahead. Oh
I
yeah,
said, and for
definitely.
other shoes, yeah, other shows.
Yeah. Um, because it made me think of like Major Crimes. I cannot think of the lady's name, but she, again, female lead. It was the same thing with. There was another. The Major Crimes was a spinoff of The Closer. Again, so because
Oh, the closer, yeah.
right, yeah. So because there are a lot of great shows with female leads, and honestly, I tell people like I think it's really cool when you have a strong female lead. It just speaks volumes to me, and not only not because it's something different and it's new, but I think it shows just having women represented in that light. I think does well for the culture at the end of
Yeah,
the day. So
I agree.
I'm all for it. Yeah, and I'm so glad that wow, 21 years, 2 decades.
It's a long time.
It is, and they said that they're showing no signs of slowing down. There hasn't been any kind of indication of this being the final season. So that's great to hear because I mean I don't see any signs of slowing down anytime soon either because I mean everybody again loves SVU and and if people, as long as
Yeah.
people are binge watching older episodes, why not why not keep filming it? So but that was our trending topic brought to you by E News. Again, everybody knows where to find E News, social media, television, network. Again, Law and Order SVU, definitely a great article, great read. Even has some pictures, showing Mariska through um, her time on the show. So, definitely go check it out, everybody. All right. So the next topic, new generation of actors. And
Hmm.
again, just, like I was mentioning to you prior to the recording, just a really not a new generation because there's actors being introduced every day. But really, my mindset on this was just about the new wave of actors, and I would even put you a part into that too, because again, you doing what you're doing now, like you're part of this wave. People getting on the stage and people in film and television, taking the helm because just like everything else in the world, it comes a time that those who have been doing it forever move on to something else, whether they retire or they go, a lot of them, we're seeing a lot more people, take and go behind the camera, writing
Yeah.
scripts, producing,
Producing,
directing,
directing.
right. And, taking, I mean, the great thing about that is it allows for young actors and actresses like yourself to, give you guys opportunities to, step up and again, take the helm and take us into what I guess, the next generation of entertainment. Your thoughts on all of this?
Honestly, I'm excited. I love this new millennial and is it Generation Z, I guess, the newcomers. I
Yeah,
love
Gen Z.
what we're doing. Yeah, I
Hmm.
love it because, and I think Marsai Martin, she plays the younger daughter on Blackish, and she
Okay,
has
yeah,
that
yeah,
movie Little coming out. I think she is a perfect example of this new generation of us coming into Hollywood and making ourselves and our voices heard. I
hmm.
think she made history as being the youngest executive producer
Oh,
ever
that
in
is right.
Hollywood. And so
Yeah,
I'm excited, and her being black too. I guess our marginalized voices, and
yeah,
I think this also goes into Jordan Peele's success and about all
yeah,
these new stories with black leads, and it's us saying that
yeah.
we're here, we're profitable, and breaking down these myths and
Right,
stereotypes that we don't make money and that we don't go out and support these films. And so
right.
I love and I'm super excited to see where where we go from here. And
Hmm.
also the fact that, these new voices that we haven't seen, and
Right.
representation in all aspects. I mean, from Crazy Rich
Hmm.
Asians, the
Right.
fact that there hasn't been an Asian lead. What I forgot, they said like 30 years or something in the mainstream, which is
Wow.
ridiculous. And
Wow.
we long for these stories. I was actually talking to a friend the other day
Hmm.
about, we were talking about the old timey, like 1920s era. And like we hear about the Harlem Renaissance or we hear about the
Hmm.
mobsters, but we were like, what were Asians up to in America during this time period? Like, that's a story that
Right.
I want to see. And
Right.
so the fact that these voices and these new actors and writers are giving the opportunity to create these projects, I'm so excited and thrilled
Hmm.
to watch and support these new works.
Yeah, yeah, same here, same here. And one of the things I think about too is the power of the internet. I think one of the great things, because I guess in previous conversations on this show, with my music guests more so, we talk about how the internet has removed a lot of barriers for people to get in and showcase their talent, and we looked at the pros and the cons, but I mean, one of the biggest pros is again the elimination of those barriers and people of all nationalities, ages, in anywhere in the world can get on there and show their talent. Because
Hmm.
one of the things I love seeing too is how we can take these people that become internet sensations, and then next we see them on somebody's television show or in somebody's movie. And for me, that makes me very happy to see, because I don't want to say I guess when you say people don't have to do the traditional way anymore, like pretty much almost
Hmm.
you can, however you can make it happen. If you can get it out there and you can get it in front of the right people,
Yeah.
then it's like boom. Like I guess I'd say my favorite example would be Ha Ha Davis. I guess Mr. Big Fella. They call him.
Uh-huh.
He's a big Instagram comedian, and I just remember 2019 has been a big year for him, and he's posted pictures on the set of Bad Boy 3, and was recently talking to Jay-Z. And so it's like that kind of stuff, like people building themselves that way, and getting opportunities. And so yeah, it's a lot of exciting. There's a lot of exciting stuff going on. I guess of the new generation, aside from yourself, who's one of your favorite people to watch?
Ooh. Oh man. I don't know. Like honestly, when I tell you I'm so supportive of honestly all of these new people,
Hmm.
I can't think of one in particular. Uh but I can go back to Marseille Martin. I love her. And
Okay, no,
I
that's
like
great.
I mean I love Yara Shahidi. I think
Hmm.
well I love her. Yeah, she is a great act. Like I love her on her shows, but like I
Hmm.
love how politically active she is, and I love how
Yeah.
this is it. I love the activism of this new generation. I love how we're not quiet, we're not complacent, we're with what we have and where we are. It's like we're voicing what we need and what we need to see. And I love how pretty much, I'm not going to say all, but a lot of us are very vocal about what we need and what we want.
Right.
And
Right.
that's how we're starting to see change in the industry and in the world,
Hmm.
honestly.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. And it's funny you say that, because one of the people I think of when we talk about people not being silent, Lupita Nyong'o. Like I think she is
Oh,
a
yeah.
great example of, like, and it reflects in her style as well, and how she carries herself, and expressing, like it, and I just love it, just love it, because
I met
one,
her
it's
once and I
really.
completely agree. Yes. When I tell you this woman is so graceful,
Hmm.
it was so like I was trying to hold it together, but she very poised, very intelligent, very adjectives. Okay, she is everything.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That would be somebody. Yeah, she's one of the people I would love to meet. Man, I'm low key jealous right now. Lupita.
You should be.
Everybody
You should
loves
be.
Lupita. Yeah. Oh man. Another one of my favorites, I would say Michael B. Jordan. Just
Hmm.
love, I think well, no, I saw him in that film when he was little,
The
Keanu
baseball
Reeves,
movie?
but the baseball movie. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, what is it called?
But
Oh God. Yeah.
it's a classic. I'm pretty sure everybody knows what we're talking about, though. But he didn't have much of a role in that. But to see that he was in
Hardball.
that movie, Hardball, yes. To
Yeah.
see him come from Hardball to what he's doing now, I think the second movie I saw him in was Fruitville Station, one of my
Oh
one of my
man,
favorites.
heartbreaking.
Yeah, 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 definitely. And that's definitely a must watch. Very insightful and eye opening. And then after that, I think Creed, great, phenomenal film. And then
Ooh,
of
I love
course,
Rocky.
and then of course
I
Black
grew up with those
Panther.
movies. Yeah, for
Yes,
sure.
yes.
Marvel.
Oh yeah, that was, oh man, that was, yeah. He did a solid job. And I haven't loved the villain that much since the Joker in Dark Knight, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Joker. And that movie said so many. It's like he's the bad guy, but the good guy too. You know, or a bad guy with good intentions.
I
Uh,
think that's what makes
Go
a good
ahead.
villain is the fact that the villains think that they're doing the right thing
Right,
morally. And then us on the outside are like, no, you're the villain. And they're like, no, I'm the good guy. Like Batman's the
right.
bad guy. I think it's so interesting when that perspective is very clear and it's
Hmm.
not making the villain think that they're doing bad things, which there are villains who know that they're doing bad things. But what's
Right,
interesting is them actually thinking that they're helping people by what they're doing.
right. Exactly, exactly. Let me ask you this question here. Would you say Thanos would be on that
Would I what?
list? Would you think Thanos from
Thanos? Oh my
would
God, from Avengers? After he threw his own daughter to the pit of abyss just for some bling on his hand, get out of here. But I do feel like, I mean, I understand. Yes. I mean, environmentally, I get it. There's not going to be enough food for everybody. Like, I understand what he was talking about, but no, he's still a villain.
Yeah, I
He's
think he did
still
it in
he's still
such a
evil.
disrespectful way. Like it was like, dude, you pushing the envelope here. The way he did the Hulk and and
Dirty.
like
So
right,
dirty.
bringing what's the guy? Oh my goodness, the guy he brought. You know
Vision
when yeah, the way he brought him back, just like
just to kill him. Oh my God. Terrible.
the
Terrible.
disrespect. Oh my goodness. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, I just I want to do that one for giggles. So, um, but I want to go ahead and jump into the interview, ask you some questions, let the audience get to learn about you and, again,
Yeah.
what you do and some of the things you have going on. So I already know a good portion of this, but please share with everyone I guess, your journey. I don't know, you go back as far as you want to go, but what inspired you and, a little bit about your journey to where you are now.
Yeah, sure. So I guess the acting portion, my mom tells us all the time. She goes that when I was 3 years old, I was watching Barney and Friends, and I told her that I
Hmm.
wanted to be inside the TV. And so that was like the first hint that I wanted to become an actor. And so,
Hmm.
as a parent does, they send you out to gymnastic classes, karate classes, just to find and have an outlet for their kids or to see what they're interested in. But I always kept coming back to acting class and really loved it. And so I honestly been taking classes ever since I was little. And when I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, where I met you, we went to Northwest School of the Arts, and that I majored in theater and had a minor in dance. And so that was really an opportunity for me to really take acting seriously and to focus on my craft. And which initially, I mean, I guess transitioned me to college and majoring in theater as well. And then from there, really getting the history of theater, why we do what we do, the different techniques and the way we can do it. I really found another level and appreciation for acting. And then
Hmm.
I guess going into the actual career side of it, like I said earlier, I went out to LA because I had the vision that I'd be moving to LA. And I met with Chris Chalk, and he gave me
Hmm.
the rundown. And then at the end of the year in college, we have a showcase where we
Hmm.
fly up to New York City and perform for casting directors, agents, managers, a whole slew of people, and to hopefully get interest. And so while I was there, like I had a goal. I was like, I'm going to get 6 bites back. I want 6 people to meet with. And I met that goal, and I met with different agents. So the whole gist of meeting with them was like, they told me, we're really interested in you. Just call us when you officially move to the city. And so I told my mom after that, I had a lot of interest in New York, and I think New York might be the place for me to move.
Hmm.
And she said, okay. I mean, that's amazing. Just having the support of my mom,
Yeah.
honestly, the fact
Hmm.
that I'm an actor making it out here versus like something steady you know,
Hmm.
I could be a doctor or something else, but the fact that she's just so supportive. Just wanted to get a quick
That's
shout out
great.
to my mom. And
Yes, yes, yes.
and honestly, when I moved up here, I only had 2 grand to my name, which is a lot of money to some, but it's so expensive up here. And
Right. Yeah,
so I
we talk
told my
about cost of
mom,
living and everything.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. And so I told my mom, I was like, Mom, listen, I need you to help me out with my rent. I said, just give me 6 months, 6 months, and I'm going to book something big. And she said, okay, I trust you. And so I moved up here. So the agent interest that I had during Showcase, I was emailing and calling them back. I literally heard nothing. It was crickets. So I was so scared because I felt kind of at first that I made the wrong decision to move to New York versus LA. But I think that's when that hustler side of me kicked in. And I was like, okay, it's time to hustle. I have to go out and meet people and do what I need to do. And like I mentioned, Brittany Polk earlier introduced me to One on One. And I'm so thankful to her for letting me know that, because I did this thing called the Bridge Program. And it's like a 3.5 week workshop where you meet with 28 people in the industry, casting directors, managers, and
Hmm.
agents, both commercially and on the legit side. And these were the people that I had been sending my headshot and resume to and hearing nothing back from. So I thought the opportunity was perfect to actually talk to these people. And so that's actually how I booked my first job. I met with one of the casting directors, and she ended up calling me in for my first Broadway job. And so
Hmm.
I always think it's interesting that Broadway is the first thing that I booked in the city, considering how I was so
Yeah.
adamant about TV and film and just
Yeah.
going with the flow and the universe, like opening up its perspective for me and realizing that TV and
Right.
film is great, but there's also a whole nother love and great work that I could be doing on stage. So yeah, so I booked that, but I didn't have an agent at the time. And so the casting directors on that project were so gracious enough to help me meet with another agent to finally get representation, because I was telling them, look, I want to keep booking work because rehearsals don't start for another 5 months, and I want to keep making money and getting my name out
Right.
there. And so I booked Gotham, spot on Gotham, and The Mysteries of Laura on NBC. And so, well, Gotham was on Fox, but yeah, so then I kept working. And then after The Crucible, the Broadway show that I booked, closed,
Right.
I booked
Right.
a recurring role on Homeland. And so that was a whole nother ordeal, because it wasn't just like a guest spot on a TV show. It was like, oh, my character kind of has an arc on this. This is this is interesting. This is another
Yeah.
level. So it's like, I mean, I've only been in New York for 3.5 years, so the amount of progress that I've made so far, people keep saying that my story and that I'm an anomaly. I think it's so interesting because of the jump start that I've had and the way I've obtained success. And after Homeland, I went back to Broadway and I understudied for Condola Rashad, Felicia Rashad's daughter, in A Doll's House Part 2, which is also
Oh.
another amazing thing because it was a very intimate cast. It was only 8 of us total, including the understudies. So just really being able to watch and interact with these people on stage. I mean, The Crucible was amazing. I mean, that was my Broadway debut, and I actually had lines and was on stage a lot of the time, but it was just so interesting in seeing a different story being told. And, you know, A Doll's House is kind of what you read in college or even high school,
Yeah.
as
Right.
one of the staples of, you know, Henrik Ibsen. I just really loved the sequel. Well, not necessarily the sequel, but I just loved the part 2 of that. And then
Hmm.
after I booked that, I booked a guest star on The Good Fight. And then the next thing that I booked was a series regular role on this Amazon pilot that I shot, Amazon Studios pilot. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, that's kind of like my 3.5 years in New York City
Wow.
story.
Wow. Uh, it never gets old, hearing that. And it's exciting every time, especially, of course, the more, the more I hear it and the more you do, you add to it. It's like, it's just like those stories you hear with the big and famous now. Like, with their journey of how they got where they are today. So let me ask you this question here, because
Hmm.
I've been telling people this lately. With this podcast, it's like it felt like a hobby,
Yeah.
and now it feels like running a business because there's so many. The more I do it, the more involved, I guess, I become with it, of course, and from promoting, distributing, and now landing bigger guests.
Hmm.
I guess, did you kind of experience that same thing with what you're doing as far as like, okay, this is for real now. Like this doesn't feel like I guess play anymore, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's so funny you say that because I was talking to my mom recently. Well, I talk to my mom all the time, but we were talking
Hmm.
about like where I am in my career right now. And she was like, Ashley, you're making so much progress and you're doing it very quickly. And she was like, I don't think you realize what you're doing. And so like I had to sit back and I was like, oh wow, I booked this, I've done this, I've met these people. And it kind of does feel surreal. It doesn't like I actually had to sit back and actually think about it because I'm so in it. I think also because I've been so career driven this whole time in New
Yeah.
York City,
Hmm.
which is why I'm here. But I've been so
Right.
focused on booking and making a name for myself, meeting the right people, making sure they know who I
Hmm.
am. But
Right. Right.
going back, I just wanted to hint something real quickly. When you said the hobbies thing, it made me think of this quote. I always see it on Instagram. It's like, find three hobbies, one to make you money, one to keep you in shape, and one to keep you creative. And
Hmm.
so I've been trying to harness, I guess, different activities to fulfill these because I didn't think I had, I mean, I have ways to keep me creative. I mean, through
Right.
acting, but also acting also makes me money. And when
Right.
I'm in shape, depending on the role, I'm either running on TV or whatever, what have you. But I had to
Hmm.
really think about my hobbies and what I'm doing to fulfill myself in all aspects and not just career wise.
Wow, man. Um, oh
Did I answer
gosh.
your question? I'm sorry.
You did. No, you did.
Oh,
You
okay.
did. You did. I said, oh gosh, because I hate these moments when I have a question ready to fire off and then like I just kind of forget it. But I mean that is great stuff, and again, always inspiring, and it's always it's so different when you actually know the person, and you see it, and that's why for me, like I'm glad that we remain in contact because it helps too keeping people like yourself around me to you're a lot like those that you
You
surround
surround
yourself with.
yourself by.
And
Yeah.
right. And it's funny you talk about 3.5 years. And one of the things that made me think of was like the whole thing when they talk about a business, like 3 to 5 years is
Yeah.
what it usually takes. And the thing that I love about where you are now and all that you have accomplished is, and like your mom said, like yeah, in that amount of time, yeah, you've done a lot. You're doing it, and I think it's cool. Like you really hit the ground running with this, and made some serious headway. So and because I think about, I'm like, wow, 3.5 years, like, and she's done all of this. Like I just remember like some of the stuff you shared that you're doing, and I'm just like, oh man, oh this, oh, okay, well that too, oh okay, she's on a roll. Like trust me, I talk like you're one of the people I talk about, or I'll say brag about to a lot of my friends, and so what?
Oh, thank you.
Because yeah, because I mean it's like yep. I remember we went to school together, and I try to make sure I get up there as much as I can and hang out and check
Hmm.
in. So yeah, and I was thinking about this too, this morning when I was just thinking about having you as my guest as far as like that. Honestly, so let's take it back to Northwest.
Yeah.
I will say probably your class, 2010,
Hmm.
your class, I would say, and maybe it might be a little biased here because, I was right there with you guys, a year behind, so I've seen it all, and of course, more prone to be keeping in contact with you guys more than any other class, well, including the class right behind me. But I think your class, I will say, has really like came out and set things on fire. Like you guys are really doing things. I mean, because of course you got yourself, and I had Kevin Mitchell Surf on here, and of course you have
Oh
Devin,
yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, like it's and I talked to them about this as well. It's like it's just so cool to to watch a lot of you guys, and there's other people too who I haven't mentioned, just to watch you guys like do, be out here doing your thing, and you know, your art, living and really taking it to the next level and getting that professional recognition now. So I just think that's super dope. And I think that's why it's so special to me to, to have been around you guys, and, still keep in contact with you all and, to see where everybody is. I'm like, man, this is a great story. I know we always talk about when everybody, when it gets to that point, everybody's made like, yep. Oh yeah, we all went to school together. Like,
Hmm.
like these are some, you got some serious people, and, serious about your craft, and it shows in the work that you all do. And I'm just really impressed with you and everybody else. And, really proud of you
Thanks.
guys, and really, really proud to say that I know all of you, and, we all went to school together. So yeah, definitely. So I guess what's next for you?
So I finished a movie called
Hmm.
Farewell. It's a horror
Okay.
movie, and it was written and directed and produced by Chris Chalk, again, UNCG
Hmm.
alum. And yeah, so I guess be on the lookout for that. It should be coming out
Okay.
of, or it's going to be available soon, hopefully, for you guys to
Cool.
see it.
Great stuff. Great stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess, so do you see yourself? I feel like I may have asked you this too. I feel like I asked you this last time. I was in New York actually. But I guess LA,
Yeah.
is that on the radar?
Possibly. I'm not
Okay.
going to get too much into detail, but I will say, I know inevitably, probably yes, but it's a matter of a job taking me to LA. Because I'm not going, well, I'm not going to say I'm not, never say never, but I don't want to move to
Yeah.
LA without a job first.
Okay.
Mainly because I already have like a niche here in New York, and I know,
Right. Right.
like, I have my go-tos in New York, and
Right.
LA I don't really know anybody, versus me, I guess, them seeing my face via an email or self-tape or something. But
Right. Right.
I mean, my manager's in LA, but like, as far as industry folks go, I know a lot of people in New York.
Right.
Um, but I know, yes. To your question, yes, I know inevitably I will be in LA. Yes.
Cool. Well, I mean, you're going about it the smart way, obviously. So,
Thanks.
if it's not broke, don't fix it. And when the time
Okay.
comes, you'll make that you'll make that leap. I'm excited for you. I've always been excited for you. I'm excited to see where things go. I guess any projects that are out now, that you want people to go check out, any social media, and go ahead and let everybody know where they can find your work and all that kind of good stuff.
Sure. So Instagram is Ashlei Sharpe Chestnut. And then I guess for seeing some of my TV works, I think Gotham and The Mysteries of Laura are available on Netflix. And I believe Homeland is available on Showtime still, season
Okay.
6. Oh, and as far as the Broadway shows, you can go to the link. If you're in New York, you can go to Lincoln Center and watch me there. And then what else have I been in? And then, Farewell is going to be coming out soon. And then I think that's it. Yeah. So, I mean, if not, go
Okay.
to IMDb, type in my name, Ashley with an I, Ashlei, and my credits are on there, and you'll be able to see the different things that I've been in.
Ooh, Ooh, IMB. Oh, she official for real. She said my credits will be
Okay.
on there. Hey, y'all, go.
Chill.
Yo, you official. So you guys know where to find her. Go check her out. Again, she dropped her social media, so if you need to go rewind and take notes, definitely do so. Again, IMDb, you'll find the credits on there. You can find all her works, and if you're in New York, definitely go and check her out. I know I'm gonna have to get up there for one of those shows one of these days, so I follow you anyway, so I'll definitely be on the lookout for that. And again, if you're listening and you haven't done so, make sure to go follow the SANE Show, the show about nothing and everything. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram, SANE_show, SANE_show. And then you can find us on Facebook, The SANE Show. And then we're on all major streaming platforms. So make sure to give us a listen, like, follow, share, subscribe. Appreciate you all, continuing to tune in from the US to Canada to the UK to Germany, Panama, Australia, and everywhere else in the world that I may have forgotten to shout out. Oh, Belgium too. Appreciate you guys listening. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. This is the SANE show about nothing, everything, episode 24 with Ashlei Sharpe Chestnut. I got it right. um, until next time, see you guys. Love you guys. And again, the live recording April 27th at Coco and the Director in the heart of Uptown Charlotte. Look forward to seeing you guys there. Tickets are now available on Eventbrite. Make sure to get yours. They are free, so you have no excuse not to even show up. And so again, until next time, this is the SANE Show, episode 24, and we're out.